scale refers to challenges faced by governments as they grow in size, population, and complexity. This can make it increasingly difficult to effectively govern and meet the needs of the citizens. The expansion of society leads to diverse interests, different economic activities, and differences regionally. All of these factors make it harder for government to respond efficiently and equitably. The problem of scale is not a new concept, as the founders recognized how it could impact the success of the government. In fact, the Founding Fathers were acutely aware of the challenge of maintaining effective and representative government over a territory as large as the United States, along with the diverse population they were even seeing at the time. Keep in mind that the founders were influenced by what they knew politically, including Enlightenment thinkers like Montesquieu, who believed that republics could only succeed in small society. However, people like Adams, Monroe, and Madison and Hamilton argued that a large republic could manage the problem of scale if structured properly. In Federalist Number 10, James Madison challenged the belief that only small republics could preserve liberty. By enlarging the republic, Madison felt that no single faction could dominate, and the principle of representation will be both efficient and stable. Extend the sphere, Madison wrote, and you take in a greater variety of parties and interests. You make it less probable that a majority of the whole will have a common motive to invade the rights of other citizens. Madison continued this theory in Federalist Number 14, acknowledging the logistical difficulties of governing a large country. Yet he argued that the right federal structure, one with powers divided between national and state levels, would control the problem of scale. Alexander Hamilton had a different view of the problem of scale, contending that a large nation needed a strong central government to handle defense, taxation, and diplomacy. In his view, small governments could not manage those matters on their own. He wrote in Federalist 70 that there was a need for energy in the executive, believing that an active and unified presidency was essential to overcoming efficiencies that would become evident with the problem of scale. In Hamilton's view, the problem of scale could only be managed with a system of balanced powers. Not everyone saw scale as a threat to liberty. Thomas Jefferson, although supportive of the Constitution and Bill of Rights, had concerns about centralization. In 1816, Jefferson wrote, "What has destroyed liberty and the rights of man in every government which has ever existed under the sun? The generalizing and concentrating all cares and powers to one body." Jefferson was not alone, as writers like Brutus argued that a large republic could not represent the people's interests. Brutus warned that in a republic, the manner, sentiments, and interests of the people should be similar. If this be not the case, there will be a constant clashing of opinions. The Anti-Federalists believed that avoiding the problem of scale lay in the local self-government, which would keep power as close to the people as possible. The Constitution was written to address the problem of scale using federalism with Madison's compound republic, which described in Federalist Number 51, which divided authority between national and state governments as well as among the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. The goal was to prevent tyranny while maintaining responsiveness across the United States. In this way, the large size of the country could serve as a source of stability and liberty when combined with institutional balance. The debate over scale remains today as tension between local autonomy and national coordination continues to define the American political system. Much of this can be attributed to the human factor as it relates to the problem of scale. This is another factor that the founders understood and attempted to address when creating the country. "If men were angels, no government would be necessary," Madison wrote in Federalist Number 51. He recognized that as the government grew, so would individuals attempt to seek personal advantages. In a small republic, citizens know their representatives and hold them accountable. But when the scale increases, the personal connection is lost. Distance can also lead to misunderstanding, apathy, and distrust, a common human reaction to feeling unheard or unseen. Madison felt that capable representatives could refine and enlarge the public views by bringing local concerns into national policy, something that relies heavily on personal integrity. As government grows, so does bureaucracy, where career advancement, security, or ideological commitment overtakes the good of the country. In this area of the human factor, bureaucrats become more focused on the process than the people. Civic engagement also depends on human psychology, as in large societies, citizens may feel alienated. Many think that their participation has little impact, weakening civic virtue and lowering participation in the civic process. Jefferson felt that the small governments could counteract this by creating an emotional and moral bond between people and their government, writing that the way to have a good and safe government is not to trust it all to one, but to divide it among the many. In the end, the Founding Fathers wanted a government that accounted for both the institutional problem of scale and the moral limits of human nature. They created a constitution designed to harness self-interest with the goal of turning ambition into equilibrium rather than domination. This was evident in Madison's statement that ambition must be made to counteract ambition. Therefore, the problem of scale is both structural and human with the size of a republic testing systems, but it is through the virtue and vigilance of its people that determine whether liberty survives.